Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good afternoon. On a first alert day, we are taking a live look outside on a day of school cancellations and now a warning for people in parts of northeast Iowa to stay off the roads altogether. We have team coverage for you to keep you informed and safe. Meteorologist David Burgett is tracking live road conditions from both MnDOT and IDOT. Our Darian Letty is out on the roads this afternoon with chief photographer and driver Chuck Sibley, letting us know what driving in our area looks like right now. And meteorologist Ted Schmidt has been tracking the latest developments throughout this storm system. So we begin with him. Good afternoon, Ted.
Good afternoon, Jess. Things still very snowy at this point, but the snowfall right now is very light. We've had some more moderate batches of snow shower activity through the course of the morning, but the snow accumulation, as we've been saying all morning long, is very slow and very gradual. We have an inch of snow here on the weather patio, and it's been snowing for almost 8 hours. So it's a very slow buildup here in Rochester, which is in the northwest side of the storm system. But we are likely to see an increase in the snowfall rate for the afternoon into the early evening before the system begins to pull away. But here's the current scene from our Lewiston Auto camera from northwest Rochester. See, the roads are partially covered with snow in most spots from Owatonna all across Rochester here as well. It is a first alert day because we're talking about the possibility of locally heavy snowfall, especially east and southeast. That's where the heaviest snow will be accumulating between today and tonight. It's going to go on for about another 24 hours still. And then Arctic air comes in for Sunday through Tuesday. Some sub-zero high temperatures, in fact. Right now, very light snow around Rochester, a little more to the southeast. If you broaden that view, we see that center of low pressure to our south. There's really heavy snow going on in Iowa and in Wisconsin. We are in the northwest periphery. Some snow will wrap around that, impacting the area. Still for us this afternoon and tonight. There is a winter storm warning still in effect until tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning here in Rochester. Big part of North Iowa now. There's an expansion to that blizzard warning. Osage, Iowa is in it, as well as areas around Waterloo. Most of the Hawkeye State in that blizzard warning because of the snow and the wind that's going to impact that area. Rochester right now 31 miles per hour, Charles City 32, and the visibility you see North Iowa a quarter mile or less in a few spots. So a very snowy day indeed, and the wind chill levels slightly below zero in most spots. Day planner today looking at temperatures climbing gradually through the teens into the upper teens by this evening, with snow continuing. Looking at a few inches of snow this afternoon and as much as maybe half a foot or snow of Rochester snowfall here. More to the east. We'll have the full forecast details in a few minutes, Jess.
And here in the Weather Center, I am tracking road conditions here, and we are seeing, as we're going through the morning hours into the afternoon now, we're seeing more accidents pop up really along Highway 52 here, even north of Rochester at this point. And we all also are seeing that along I-35 here. That's going to be more southbound. And we take a look now at Broadway Avenue here downtown. We're seeing a lot of these slick covered roads, more partially covered. It looks like to be more fully covered at the moment. And even if we're at East Rochester at Highway 14 and a little bit south of I-35 and Owatonna, we're seeing those partially covered roads with all that snowfall on there, and temperatures into the teens for us right now. And taking an update, we are seeing more partially covered, and you notice off to our east towards Wisconsin and even southeast of us into Iowa, they're seeing more partially completely covered roads or conditions where travel is not advised. So if you are in Winnebago County, if you're in Fayette, or if you're in Alameda counties, travel is not advised because of the snow covered roads. And taking another look now at our road conditions across the region, they are going to be mostly snow covered right now, at least partially here along Highway 14, especially at 11th Avenue there, and across the region here we are also seeing Highway 52 having some snowier conditions in some places, especially along 2nd Street Southwest. So if you're going to be out today and this afternoon as the snow is falling, conditions are going to be slick and gusty too, especially with the blowing snow. So these are some winter weather driving tips for you. And it just kind of determines your driving skills will be determined by whether or not if you turn into the skid, brake only if necessary, and if you distance yourself from others and you don't want to use cruise control when you're driving winter weather, warm up your car in an enclosed space, or go up hills and stop, because you're going to lose a lot of momentum and inertia with that. So these are some winter driving tips you need to take most likely if you're going to be out on the roads today.
Yeah, some important reminders, especially in Iowa. There's some dangerous conditions there.
Yes, especially in the northeastern section.
Okay, thank you, David. Let's get the latest on what's happening right here. Our Darian Letty has been out surveying road conditions throughout the day. Right now, we have her paired up with our chief photographer, Chuck Sibley. Chuck is behind the wheel. He's focusing on driving, so Darian can safely focus on what local conditions are like. So, Darian, where are you at, and what are you seeing out there?
Hey Jess, we are on 52 North here in Rochester. You just saw us get on the on-ramp there, and there's a lot of snow built up at those on-ramps. So make sure to take it slow when you are exiting or getting onto the highway today. Look at the roads right now. We've got a good amount of snow coverage on the roads, and you can even see some blowing snow because that wind is really pushing the snow onto the road. So we've got a little of that too. But as for speeds, people are taking it pretty average. I would say maybe slightly below 60 miles an hour, the speed limit. But things seem to be moving on pretty well compared to this morning. We saw a little bit more of slick roads and people taking it slow. But that snow is definitely coming down, and that wind is really blowing it at you when you drive. So just got to be really careful when you are seeing that. And you can even see on the other lane here how we don't have all of the lanes plowed on the highway. So it's a good idea to stick to those lanes that are actually plowed when you are traveling, if you have to, this afternoon and evening. And we're going to keep checking out areas around Rochester, how the roads are looking, and we'll check in with you later, Jess. I'll send it back to you.
Sounds good. Darian, thanks for all the perspective from the roads you've been sharing throughout the day. Homeless shelters in Rochester are experiencing an increase in demand for their services because of the weather. Catholic Charities of Southern Minnesota says it expects the Rochester Warming Center to be full during the storm, including its overflow site. That's at the Rochester Salvation Army. The Landing, which provides services to people experiencing homelessness, also says it's been seeing more clients since the start of the month.
You know, staff's telling me that we're starting to eke our way back up. You know, a month ago we were seeing 107 unique individuals come in for services during the course of the day. With the milder weather in December, it dropped down into the high 90s, and now it's creeping back up again. So, you know, my probably best guess is we're around 110 unique individuals a day that come in for services.
Both the Landing and the Salvation Army are always accepting donations for winter clothing, with gloves, socks, and hoodies at the top of their list of needs. Starting tomorrow, lasting through Tuesday, city crews are going to be, of course, removing and clearing snow from downtown streets, and that means overnight parking on a number of streets. Marked in red on your screen will not be allowed from midnight until 8 a.m. We also have this information on our website if you want to take a closer look at that. A quick note from North Iowa, where today's storm is impacting the final days of campaigning leading up to the much-anticipated Iowa caucuses on Monday. Ron DeSantis was set to have an event in Clear Lake this morning that was planned at the Boulevard Bar and Grill at 10:15. That was delayed because of the weather. No word yet from his campaign team on when it might be rescheduled. The snow is impacting flights around the area. A ground stop was issued early this morning at Chicago's O'Hare after the city received several inches of snow overnight. And as a result, hundreds of flights were canceled. That includes American Airlines flights from RST to Chicago today. And among today's cancellations here, the flight scheduled to depart at 11:59 this morning and the flight that's scheduled for 6:03 this evening. As we continue to work our way through this storm together, you can always get our KTTC updates by downloading our free news app, as well as our First Alert weather app to your smartphone for the latest on what we're tracking here. In some other news today, a Rochester man was arrested for possessing and spreading child pornography. According to Rochester Police, 31-year-old Brandon Kane was taken into custody Thursday for possession of work involving a minor and dissemination of pornographic work of a minor. Police say the investigation began January 3rd after police received an Internet Crimes Against Children tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Just ahead, this is not the weather candidates were hoping for in the final campaign push leading up to the Iowa caucuses. We will get the latest from Des Moines. And the Biden administration announces another round of student debt cancellation. Who's going to benefit from that? Coming up. The race for the White House is heating up with just 3 days to go until the Republican caucuses in Iowa. Polls show former President Donald Trump remains the overwhelming frontrunner, with Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis battling for second place. NBC's Garrett Hake has more on all of this from Des Moines.
The story once again here in Iowa is in part the weather today, with some campaign events already getting canceled because of the blowing snow we're expected to see across the state. It's the kind of thing that might cut into the momentum of Nikki Haley, who appears to be leading in what's become a battle for second place here in Iowa. That's where all the drama in this race is. We saw her face-to-face with Ron DeSantis earlier in the week, the two continuing to trade barbs on the campaign trail about their records as governor, even one another's basic honesty. But Haley's also making the case that this is about to become a two-person race between her and frontrunner Donald Trump. She is trying to turn the page, and so too is Trump. He's been off the trail in a New York City courtroom, arguing that he's an innocent man, unfairly targeted, he says, by overzealous Democratic prosecutors. It's similar to the message he has given here on the stump in Iowa in the past, and the one he's likely to give at 4 weekend events here just before the caucuses on Monday. That's if he can get back into the state, as the entire state of Iowa faces a blizzard warning for the rest of the day today.
The White House has announced a fresh wave of early student debt cancellation for some borrowers. The round of debt forgiveness applies to borrowers who received less than $12,000 in federal loans and have been paying off their balances for at least 10 years. The Biden administration announced today that those borrowers' remaining student debt is going to be canceled next month. The move applies to people who are enrolled in the new income-driven repayment plan known as SAVE, which administration officials touted in recent months as a way to help lower those monthly payments. Here's Ted with more on the storm system we're working our way through right now.
Light snow is still falling here in Rochester. Some spots have much heavier snow happening and a lot of wind to deal with. A lot of elements in the storm system we're tracking now. And beyond this, there's an Arctic outbreak that'll impact our weekend. The full forecast details are coming up after our Friday midday market report.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
It is a bit of a messy day out there. In fact, parts of the viewing area are dangerous, at least for driving conditions, Ted.
It is, yeah, especially northeast Iowa, where locally anyway, and anything south of there across the Hawkeye State, dealing with blizzard conditions, very poor visibility, but also just terrible driving conditions in the area. And so that's a big concern right now. Here in Rochester and some of the local spots here surrounding the Med City, looking messy, but not terribly as dicey as those areas south of us. We do have some light snow falling here in the Med City, and the visibility has been reduced a little bit, but just a slow-moving day on the roads. This is live as we look outside with our Lewiston Auto live cameras across the area, and some of the traffic cameras will still see some, the tire tracks of the snow, and looking at some of that minor coating that's on the pavement so far. 1 inch on the ground so far here in Rochester, and we have a few more headed our way between today and tonight. First alert day because of the snow and the blowing snow going on. Moderate to heavy snowfall is possible in some spots. Not everybody's going to get the heavy snow, but there will be accumulation of some sort and some rough road conditions because of the snow and the wind. After this, the second phase of the first alert outlook for the next few days is wind and the bitterly cold air that's going to be coming with it. Wind chill values as cold as 35 below zero from Saturday night all the way through Tuesday. So snow moving through the air. Another wave is coming in from the east. So there's a lull right now in Rochester. If you're thinking there hasn't been that much snow, there's more headed our way on the northwest side of the system as it works its way into Illinois from Iowa. We're going to have more of that snow building in for the rest of the afternoon tonight. I guess I've been saying all morning, this is going to be the heaviest snowfall rate that we're going to be experiencing. That's happening in the afternoon and evening. We have a winter storm warning still in effect for our pink counties for the rest of today and tonight, all the way until 9 tomorrow morning. North Iowa almost solidly in a blizzard warning. That says that it's not just snow, but wind and poor visibility and bad travel conditions. All those elements together. Visibility less than a quarter of a mile for the rest of today and tonight. That goes on until early tomorrow morning, that blizzard warning. Winds right now 26 miles per hour Dodge Center, 32 in Charles City. That's kind of what we're going to be facing today, maybe even stronger than this at times. The visibility in Iowa less than a mile. That's going to be the way it is for another day or so, almost until midday tomorrow. Heaviest snow this afternoon and evening. We'll look for 6 or more inches of snow in much of the area. Here in Rochester, about 6, maybe 7 inches, but looks like we'll be in the mid stretch of what we're looking for our current stretch of forecast totals. Heaviest snow to the east, then slick roads and blowing snow, still a concern for quite some time. Future track today, snow wraps around that system. We see some of that intensification of that snowfall rate, reduction of visibility because of the wind, and then you see the snow really letting up this evening and tonight. Still going on, but at a lighter pace for the overnight hours and tomorrow. Still not done with the snow during the day tomorrow. Waves of light snow, but less than an inch of accumulation during the day, and that wraps up around sunset tomorrow evening. Snowfall rates the highest this afternoon until about 8 o'clock, and then they slowly edge their way down. Much lighter snow overnight. 4 to 8 inches. As I said, we're in the mid-range, maybe 5, 6, 7 inches, somewhere in that range in Rochester across the Med City. Higher amounts, 11, maybe 12 inches to the east and 3 to 6 inches or so to the west of Rochester overall between today, tonight, and tomorrow. And the wind chill outlook for the next few days, Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, all about 25 to 35 below zero, the way it'll feel. And don't forget to download the free KTTC First Alert weather app for the latest on these situations with the snow and the wind chill values and things like that. All that information at your fingertips there. Today, 18 degrees, 2 to 4 inches of snowfall with gusty winds that reduce visibility at times. 8 degrees tonight, another 2 to 4 inches will be possible. Gusts to 35 miles per hour. And still a blustery day tomorrow. Falling temperatures. 12 will be the high temperature in the morning, dropping to single digits in the afternoon. And up to an inch of snow is possible. After that, snow's done, and then we'll have just Arctic air coming in and dangerously cold wind chill values for a few days, Jess.
Yeah, after today, just 4 more first alert days to go.
It's hard to imagine. Yeah, but it's quite a rough patch here we're in right now with this weather.
Yeah, we need to just take care and remember to keep checking on our loved ones through this.
You should, definitely.
Thank you, Ted. Cheers to your health. Our moment of science is all about those 8 glasses of water we've been told to drink every day. And is that number even accurate? Dan Smith is weighing in on that next. We've all been told through the years to drink at least 8 glasses of water a day, but how accurate is that figure? Dan Smith thirsts for knowledge in our moment of science.
From healthier skin to cleaning toxins to losing weight, many of us have heard of the benefits of drinking at least 8 glasses of water a day, but today we're separating fact from fiction to somewhere in between. We might as well start with the thesis statement, you do not have to drink 8 glasses of water a day, though the notion has its roots in good science, if not a bit dated. You see, back in 1945, the U.S. Food and Nutrition Board recommended that adult males should take in about 2 to 2.5 liters of water a day, which does average out to about 8 glasses of 8 to 10 ounces each. Now, most folks don't know there's a second half to that claim, and I quote, most of this quantity is contained in prepared foods. That's right, the water in the food you eat counts toward that figure. It's another of several benefits to eating your fruits and veggies, many of which are made of about 70 to 90% water. Oddly enough, cucumbers are 96% water content compared to a slightly lower 92% in watermelon. Now, contrary to popular belief, tea and coffee not only don't dehydrate you, but also count toward that water intake. Now, it's true that caffeine has diuretic effects that can cause you to urinate more, but clinical studies have shown no significant changes in net hydration as long as you're not downing one every waking hour. Don't forget that you yourself are about 60% water, and if you're off by just a couple percentage points, here come the headaches and cramping and exhaustion and all that fun stuff. We do excrete a fair bit through our breath, sweat, and urine, and that's what you're essentially replacing day by day, hour by hour. Back to that water figure from the 40s, the board never cited a clinical study, so it's already a bit anecdotal. Your body is pretty good at telling you when to drink, whether it's at your 9-to-5 desk job or after a hard workout or maybe during a cold, such as the one I'm coming out of, though ignoring those signs and wondering why you have a mid-afternoon headache is another matter, he said more to himself. Your kidneys are already amazing filters, so drinking more water than average won't exactly cleanse toxins or improve skin tone any more than usual, though it can help flush out kidney stones, and staying hydrated helps prevent them in the first place. Drinking a couple cups of water just before you eat can lead to weight loss in the long run, but that's more a case of filling your stomach so there's less room for food. There is such a thing as drinking too much water. Your kidneys can't keep up, the sodium in your cells can't keep up, so they swell up, leading to high blood pressure and brain pressure. It's just not a pretty picture. All this to say, I am not your doctor. What they say goes and what your body says goes. So you should probably have a swig or two right now before you forget, myself included. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
Yeah, I'm definitely reaching for my water bottle after that. Here's Howard with what he's up to in the kitchen.
Looking for a quick dinner idea that your family will love? We've got it, so don't go anywhere. If your dinner time routine needs a bit of a jump start, you're gonna love the dish we're making today. It's super easy, budget friendly, and it tastes amazing. It's what we call Mom's Go-To Weeknight Goulash, and it goes together like this. We start by boiling some elbow macaroni just until it's tender. Then we drain it. And while it sits for a sec, we brown some ground beef with chopped onion and green pepper. Now, depending on what your gang likes, you could always add some mushrooms or a spicier pepper. Once the meat's crumbled and we've drained the drippings, we add the pasta to it, along with a jar of spaghetti sauce and a few spices. We'll give this a good stir and let it simmer for a bit so all the flavors have a chance to come together. Then right before dinner, we'll sprinkle on some shredded cheese, and once that melts, it's ready to serve. The whole thing, from start to finish, is done in less than 30 minutes. Maybe serve it up with a salad and some crusty bread, and you're good to go. The easy recipe for Mom's Go-To Weeknight Goulash is on our website and is ready to be your new go-to recipe when you want something fill you up good. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a weeknight-friendly way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. That should hold you over to lunch, huh?
Howard knows when we need comfort food, Ted.
Yeah, a nice warm bowl of goulash. Well, what could be better on a cold, windy winter day, Jess? I had some amazing stew last night that my wife made. Probably the best stew I've ever had.
What kind of stew?
Amazing. It was beef stew, and it was braised in this gravy, whatever, in the pot for 3 hours. It just baked, and it was so tender. It was amazing. It was good. Well worth the wait. It took forever to cook.
Yes, I'll be over for leftovers after the show.
There are some leftovers. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I'd have to be out at the weather patio all day. Weather today, not great to be on the roads, unfortunately, as we've already seen across the area, and it's going to be like this really for the rest of today. In fact, it may deteriorate some of those conditions as more of the snow moves in from the south and east, rotating in. There's another batch of snow that's going to intensify the snowfall rate here. It's very light snow here in the weather patio now. We have 1 inch on the ground. We're expecting at least another inch or two this afternoon and another 2 or 3 inches tonight on top of that here in Rochester. Here's the current scene from our Lewiston Auto camera right now, downtown Rochester's snow-covered landscape. Road crews have been trying to keep up with things. Snow has been pretty light here, though, in the Rochester area so far. But we have that wind that may cause blowing snow here, and especially in North Iowa. A lot of that happening, as you're going to hear on our road conditions in a few minutes. But across our live cameras, partially covered roads with that snow. Satellite radar, here's another batch of snow coming in from the east. Watch it rotate into the area, and some darker coloring in Wisconsin that is headed our way. So we are going to see things get a little tricky here in the afternoon, but especially North Iowa. That's where the blizzard warning is still in effect, and it runs until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Just about the entire Hawkeye state. The pink area is winter storm warning. That runs until 9 tomorrow as we look for more snowfall and some difficult travel conditions as well. 26-mile-per-hour gust in Austin as we look at some of the wind gusts. Charles City 32. Here in Rochester, we've had some 25-mile-per-hour gusts at times anyway. Visibility in a mile or two here in Rochester and in southern Minnesota. North Iowa, half-mile or less at times, and that's the way it's going to be for much of today. That's with that blizzard warning. You factor in wind and snow together, really reduces visibility, so you get blizzard conditions. Temperatures in the teens climbing to around 18 this evening, and that'll be the high temperature later today, with gusty winds stronger at times up to 35 miles per hour later today, so it gets stronger in time. Ted's Trivia: before the United States finished the Panama Canal, which other country started the project in 1881, didn't get it finished? It's one of those 4 countries. We'll have that answer in a few minutes, Jess. All right, anyway, first we're going to send it back to David, actually.
That's right. We can't forget David.
Well, I'm asking, you're the question. David is the next person I need to talk to. But yes, we're going to go to David.
David, he can play along and answer that question as well later.
We haven't done that before. We should.
If I'm thinking of an answer, I really want to say it's Portugal. I don't know if my 6th grade history is really kicking off right now. But what is kicking off, it's the snowfall across the region. Still, like Ted said, we're getting another band coming into the region. You can even see that on our live camera at Signal Hill now at Highway 52.
How do we do this?
We do see a lot of snowfall in the region, at least a little bit light accumulations worth. And we recently had an accident here in Rochester along Highway 52 that kind of stalled some traffic there. I think that's cleared up by now, but that was just relatively recent within the last few minutes here. So you could still see a backup in terms of that traffic there in those slick road conditions. And even right now across the region, we're seeing a little bit of some slick road conditions near downtown Rochester, and really across the region right now, we are seeing around I-35 some slick road conditions, and then along 11th Avenue still in Rochester pretty much all morning and all day. But the biggest concern we have now with these road conditions, if you notice off to our southeast towards Winneshiek, Fayette, and even into Alameda counties, they're underneath a purple basically road conditions, where it means that travel is not allowed, or travel is not advised, I should be saying, with that. So there's snow-covered roads completely there. And taking a closer look into Winneshiek County there near Decorah on US 52 heading northward on Iowa, those roads are pretty much completely covered in terms of that snowfall right now. And even across the region of Iowa, the whole entire state, if you take a diagonal line going from about the northeast section to the southwest section, we're underneath about travel not advised for those categories, and even fully covered roads in the pinks and even with the purples. So if you're going to be out driving today, the successful driving in the winter weather is to be determined by how well you turn into the skid, if there's going to be any braking, if you only brake if necessary, and if there's going to be any distance from yourself and others around you. And always don't use cruise control, and then don't warm up your car within an enclosed space, because you'll get carbon monoxide poisoning.
Such valuable and reminders and tips, and thanks for the updates on the conditions.
Right.
We want to give you a look at what's happening right now in our area. Darian Letty's giving us one last look at the commute. She's been up since before 4 this morning, giving us a look outside. She is with Chief Photographer Chuck Sibley, who's driving so they can work together as a team, and Darian can safely focus on telling us about these conditions. So Darian, what are you seeing, and where are you at?
Hey Jess, we're here on West Circle Drive, just going past Northern Hills Golf Course, and as you can see, we've got quite a buildup of snow happening. We got partially covered roads here. You can even see a little bit of that snow being pushed by the wind right there on the road there. The wind is definitely part of this story today. You know, it's not snowing too much, it's just coming down really lightly. However, because of that snow, it's really blowing around, so it can get a little messy sometimes when you get a lot of cars together. You're on the highway kicking up that snow. That can cause a loss of visibility at some points. And as we get to intersections like these, we can see the plows doing the hard work and getting a little buildup. So make sure to keep it slow at those intersections and make sure to factor in travel time if you are traveling this evening. And with that, Jess, I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Darian, for all your reports today. And Chuck, thanks for driving. Miller Lite has a most unexpected way to help people keep those dry January resolutions. That story just ahead. Last year, we saw a lot of up and down when it came to paying for everyday goods. Our Ag Day Minute shares how the numbers shaped up at the year's end.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Inflation isn't over as new numbers show a higher than expected increase to end 2023. The Consumer Price Index increasing 0.3% in December above pre-report expectations. That pushes the annual rate to 3.4%, both numbers higher than in November. Now the increase, according to the Labor Department, led by housing costs, followed by higher energy and food prices. Food prices overall are up 2.7% year over year. Food at restaurants more than 5% higher, while food at home was just 1.3% above a year ago. That number has now been below the target of 2% for 3 straight months. Miller Lite offering to help folks choosing to abstain from alcohol during dry January. The beer brand launching a non-alcoholic beer mint. Now apparently they start out minty, then the taste of Miller Lite emerges as you chew them. The beer mints go on sale January 12th at MillerLiteBeerMints.com. Like its iconic flavor, fruit striped gum is disappearing, the longtime favorite being discontinued. It's been part of the candy aisle for more than a half century. Food and Wine magazine says fruit striped gum maker Ferrera Candy announced the news in a statement, adding that fans of the product may still be able to find it at certain retailers where it remains in stock. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station anytime at agweb.com.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
We have light snow falling in Rochester right now. It is wind-driven snow, though, so it is making for some difficult road conditions all around the area, and that's going to continue through the rest of today. It's a first alert day because of the snow and the wind that are working together to create some blizzard conditions in some spots. Not necessarily blizzard conditions here in Rochester, but difficult road conditions. Right now, looking at some of our local traffic cameras across the area, we see some of the snow on the landscape and traffic moving along slowly. With all that happening, we have snow building in for the east. It's been kind of a lull here in Rochester for the past couple of hours. Now, we're going to see snow fall rates intensify. More of this coming in from the east and the backside of a storm system centered to our south. This is rotating in. So if you're thinking, well, this is kind of a dud, it hasn't been a big deal, it is going to get more intense this afternoon. We're going to pick up a little more snowfall, and the winds are going to pick up through the course of the afternoon and evening. With all that going on, we still have a winter storm warning for Rochester, big part of the area, everything in pink on this map. And then North Iowa, just about the entire Hawkeye State together, is in a blizzard warning. That goes until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Some heavy snow in some spots, but also a lot of wind causing bad visibility, less than a quarter mile at times, and some difficult road conditions. 30-mile-per-hour gusts in Osage, 31 Charles City, 26 right now in Dodge Center. All that wind-driven snow, a result of all that. Right now, visibility a little less than 2 miles in Rochester. North Iowa still flirting with that quarter of a mile range, and that is problematic. So it makes for difficult travel conditions. Heaviest snow this afternoon and evening. That's what we're out of this whole storm system. This is the heaviest part. And then look for 6 inches or more in much of the area. Heaviest to the east overall. And then we'll have, of course, slick roads continue with blowing snow through tonight and tomorrow. Those tomorrow's snowfall rates will be much lighter and not that much in the way of Saturday accumulation. Snow goes on today, coming in from the east. Wrap around that storm system. A couple of inches or more this afternoon. We'll tack on a little more tonight. Snowfall rates begin to weaken after midnight, and then we'll have light waves of snow tomorrow with raw winds and inch or less of snowfall during the day, wrapping up around sunset tomorrow. Look for the snowfall rates to really pick up through about 8 o'clock this evening and then slowly drop off for the overnight period and tomorrow. 4 to 8 inches at Rochester, so about 5, 6, 7 inches or so, more than likely. To the east, higher amounts, 7 to 11 inches in Winona, but 3 to 6 inches to the west around Albert Lee, around Mason City and Austin. Look for wind chill levels behind the system to be at 25 to 35 below zero. That's Saturday night through Sunday morning, and then all the way through Tuesday. So 3 more first alert days. And you can keep track of all that by downloading the free KTTC First Alert Weather app. You can find that in your store, your online store, to download that and get the latest road conditions And snowfall amounts and wind chill forecast too. 18 today, it'll be actually this evening when we reach that high temperature. 2 to 4 inches of snowfall, higher to the east, gusty winds and wind-driven snow. 8 degrees tonight, 2 to 4 inches of additional snowfall. And then tomorrow, less than an inch of snow, or at least up to an inch, but windy with light snow, really in the morning, tapering off late in the afternoon. 12 degrees, that'll be a morning high temperature. Readings falling as Arctic air comes in, and first alert days all the way through Tuesday because of the dangerously cold wind chill values. Next week, slight recovery, but still pretty cold stuff for quite some time. Ted's Trivia: before the United States finished the Panama Canal early in the 20th century, which other country started the project in 1881?
So I was going to go with Portugal like David guessed, but I think he accidentally saw and leaked the answers at C, France.
And you just could disagree. Of course, you knew he knows his stuff, right? Teamwork, yes. France. France didn't get it done, but U.S. got her done.
Yes, we did. Thank you, Ted. A lot of people are struggling with illnesses right now, so we're going to talk to a Mayo Clinic doctor about the respiratory virus impacting so many people. That's next. Minnesota is seeing an uptick in respiratory disease, but not nearly at the same level as the rest of the country. As RSV, COVID, and the flu paved the way for more sick Americans, our Quinn Gorham spoke with a Mayo Clinic expert about how we can stay healthy.
We are seeing what we've seen in some of our previous seasons, even last year and this year, where we're seeing the peak of influenza and RSV and COVID.
Nationwide, a trifecta of respiratory illness is causing a surge in hospitalizations. While numbers are up in Minnesota, the state seems to be faring better than the rest of the country. Still, hospitalizations for the flu and for COVID are up as of this week.
We are seeing peak similar to last year and this year right now, influenza, where if we go back to the pandemic, which is so memorable for so many of us, right? COVID was our greatest concern.
Dr. Summer Allen is a family medicine physician at Mayo Clinic. She says all three illnesses have vaccinations available, but RSV is a bit more limited in scope.
The RSV vaccination is targeting our highest risk populations again a little bit and expanded from where it was before.
Right now, that mainly includes pregnant mothers and elderly Minnesotans. While vaccines are a good way to boost public immunity, Allen says pandemic-era behaviors may also shine through when the numbers are up.
I think what has developed in people is an ability to say, gosh, I'm not feeling well, I need to keep myself at home, or I need to consider masking myself.
And regardless of health, it's important to remember that a doctor's visit can rule out major medical concerns.
Trust your gut, trust what's your baseline, right? So if you are breathing faster than your baseline and it's persisting, pain in their chest, fever lasting longer than a week, it may be worth getting seen.
Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
Those are going to continue the rest of today and tonight. Be safe.
Take care. See you at the telethon.